Baile á Trim. Trim, the fourth of the elder trees, was built on a ford across the River Boyne. The ancient capital of Meath, which was in its heyday the fifth province of Ireland. The county had Tara at its centre, the seat of the High Kings and Queens of Ireland. Trim itself boasts the largest Norman fortification in Europe, King John's Castle, along with the ruins of many monastic settlements in and around the town, all stretching back in time to the 5th and 6th century. In more recent times, Trim has progressed and taken in its stride the changes that are part of life as we progress towards the 21st century. On this quiet autumnal day, the 12th of October 1997, the town is a blaze of colour as it heralds the heroes who later in the afternoon make the short journey to Porthalton to take on Navan O'Mahony's in the 1997 Meath Senior Football Championship final. They are coming. They even hang the flags out on the cars. Okay.
How are you, lads? How are you doing? Not too bad. How you been?
Here at St. Loman's Park is where it all starts and finishes. There's always been a strong GA tradition in Trim, but most of the championships, both at underage and adult level, happen for their prowess on the hurling fields. They have 23 senior hurling championship crowns. While always producing fine footballing sides and players, 1997 sees Trim contest only their third senior football final since 1960. The Keegan Cup has visited Trim just once, in 1962, all of 35 years ago. And today's heroes hope to bridge that gap for their long-suffering, loyal supporters as they search for the Holy Grail. Well, St. Loman's Park, an hour and 3/4 to go before the throw-in in Navan for this year's senior football final, joined by selector from Trim, Jack Quinn, and by the secretary of the Trim club, Brendan Dempsey. First of all, Jack, we're almost there at this stage. Injury-wise, you've no problems. Are you still as confident as you were earlier on in the week?
Yeah, we're pretty confident, Frank. Everything's gone well. Training has gone well. The boys are all very fit. There's no injury worries that I know of any at the moment. Everything that had any minor things are all completely healed up, and it's all systems go. It's looking forward now to the kick-off, and I said that some of the lads over there would wish that it was nearly kick-off time rather than have this hour and 3/4 to wait.
All right. Well, look, you're here in St. Loman's Park, as I say. Just obviously a little run around and a loosen out for the lads. It won't be giving away any secrets. This won't be shown until well after the match. You've said you've no injury problems. Would you name the team for us very quickly?
Yeah, well, you can go back and it's Kieran Dempsey in the goals, and Mullen is corner back, and Mick O'Leary's full back, and Kevin Walsh. And in the half-back line, then we've centre half-back is David Murray, and each side of him is I think they'll be head has got him. Brian Smith, and the other side is Walsh, Benny Murray. Sorry, my head has gone on me. In the middle of the field is Kevin Meehan and Darren Fay. Declan Murray, although he'll be wearing number 14, will be centre forward, and each side of him will be Paddy Haggerty and Colin McHugh, and full forward will be Enda Markey, and Ronan Fitzsimons will be wearing number 11, and Aaron Fay will be in the other corner.
All right, an interesting little thing there, as you say, 14 and 11. Ronan Fitzsimons and Declan Murray, they're obviously going to do their bit of switching between one, as they've done up to now.
Well, we've done that in every match, and we have, Nick, in every match we have switched them at different occasions, but mostly Ronan has been full forward. But we said at this stage we weren't going to change their jerseys. That's the way they've lined out all along, and we've decided to stay with it.
Not superstitious, Jack?
Maybe a little bit. But also, I have to say that we have 2 or 3 players in the subs that would be very very, very unlucky that they're not on this team. And maybe at some stage they will get on. Like David McGuinness is one I'm thinking of, like, you know, and some of the young Haggerty and James Canty. There's a few more players as well, Ewan, and there's a lot of CJ, there's a lot of good players there on the sideline. And at some stage one of them or two of them maybe brought in.
Right. So you have plenty of strength in them and still confident of winning?
Hopefully, yeah. We know Navan and Mahoney have a great record in finals and they're always very hard to beat, and I know they're going to be very hard today, but if we perform on the day to what we're capable of, we can do it.
Okay. Yeah. Alright, Jack Quinn, thanks very much. We go to Brendan Dempsey, who is the secretary of the Trim Club. A big day for the club, Brendan, their first final since 1962, the last time they won it. Jack Quinn is very confident. Are you as confident?
Oh yes, I think they're well prepared now, and we have youth on our side, and we've 5 or 6 good scoring forwards, which is a luxury on most teams. Normally you have 1 or 2, so I think with that blend and with Darren Fay in the middle of the field to do a lot of donkey work for us, if you like, around there, that we'll get enough possession up in the middle, up front to get scores and to win the match.
All right, well look, you've been around in other counties, you've been involved with clubs in other counties and have had a good run when it came to senior championships, particularly in Offaly and in Donegal. You're hoping for a hat-trick really, that Trim, after 35 years, get to a final and that they'll actually bring the Keegan Cup back.
That's right, the last club I was involved with was Killybags, and I was manager or joint manager in 1988, and they won the senior football championship up there for the first time for 33 years, so I'm hoping to repeat the dose today. Right. And I've no doubt that we will.
Okay, well look, we'll let you get back. We know you want to let the lads run around. You're confident of victory though?
Oh yes, I'd say, well, as confident, we have a good team. I'd say we should win by 2 or 3 points, but it's not going to be easy against the Mahoney's. It's never easy to beat them in a final, you know, as I know to our cost.
All right, as you do indeed, like when you were playing with Beliver going back about 25 years ago. Okay, well look, Brendan Dempsey and Jack Quinn, the best of luck. We'll let you back to your duties for the afternoon, and with that we'll head off to Navan with our camera crew and hopefully bring the Keegan Cup back with us. On our way to Navan, and Trim becomes a ghost town, but I suppose on our way would do as well to remember the sponsors of the Trim team, the Steps. No doubt, hopefully there'll be plenty sank here, plenty of drink tonight, and celebration and not drowning of sorrows. Well, you're welcome to Port Talton. We got here eventually. We've got 20 minutes to kick off for the 1997 Meath Senior Football Championship Final. A novel one it is too. It's the first time since 1961 that both Trim and Navan O'Mahony's will have faced one in a county final. Indeed, it's more probably a much bigger occasion for Trim, because Navan O'Mahony's beat them in 61, but in 1962 they came back and beat Ballinlough in the final to win their only senior football championship. Since then, well, they haven't reached the county final. Navan O'Mahony's, of course, we all know, have won the Keegan Cup on 15 occasions. So that will give you an idea of how big this occasion is for Trim. We are awaiting the arrival of the teams. The Navan Silver Band have been entertaining the crowd here. Just very briefly, the team news that we've got for you at this point in time with 20 minutes to kick off. Well, both sides, Navan in particular, they actually, they line out as we expected, and running through it very, very quickly. We've got Donald Smith in the goals. Brian O'Grady, Brian Riley and Brendan Murray make up the full back line. The half back line, Paul O'Brick, Kenny McGurk and Darren Byrne, and that's a very experienced defence Navan O'Mahony's have got. In centre field, Alan Riley, who's the captain, wearing number 8, and he's partnered by Derek Doonan. The half forward line sees Gary Nelson, Colm Kane on the 40 and Martin Riley to finish that line off, and the full forward line is David Hosey, the youngest man. They'll be expecting an awful lot, and he plays alongside the oldest man on the Navan O'Mahony's team, Damien Sheridan, and to complete that full forward line we've got Davy Carolan. There has been a little bit of doubt in the Trim camp about David McGuinness. Well, he doesn't in fact take his place today, and the only change that we weren't sure of right up to now was whether who would in fact partner Darren Fay at centre field. We've got the word on that, and the man partnering him is Kevin Meehan, in fact, wearing number 18. The Trim team lining out as we expected otherwise. In goals, Kieran Dempsey. The full back line, Darren Mullen, Michael O'Leary the captain at full back, and Kevin Walsh. The half back line, Brian Smith, David Murray and Benny Murray. At centre field, Darren Fay, and as I say, partnered by Kevin Meehan. His partner right up to the semi-final has been David McGuinness, but he's injured and can't take his place today. The half forward line, Paddy Hegarty in the centre, Ronan Fitzsimons wearing number 11, but I think we'll see a little positional switch there. It's likely that Ronan Fitzsimons will start at full forward. For the moment, he's wearing number 11, and number 12 will be Colin McHugh. The full back line is Enda Markey, Declan Murray and Aaron Fay. Now, an interesting tactic there from the Trim men. As I say, Ronan Fitzsimons wearing number 11, Declan Murray wearing number 14. It's likely that Declan Murray will in fact start on the 40 with Ronan Fitzsimons at full forward. It's a switch that they've used throughout the championship, and indeed to great effect, because Declan Murray is their top scorer with 30 points. We still await the Navan O'Mahony's and the Trim team. They will be out any moment now. There will be a ceremonial throw-in. Here they come, the Trim team, led out by Michael O'Leary. The ceremonial throw-in today, it's normal at Meath County Finals. Well, that will be carried out by none other than Peter Darby, a Trim man who captained Trim to their one and only senior football championship in 1962. And Peter, of course, 5 years later, he captained Meath to the Sam Maguire in 1967, and he will do the ceremonial throw-in today. Just before the Navan O'Mahony's team comes out on the field, as you can see right around them there, they line out, as we've just mentioned to you, and number 18 is Kevin Meehan. The Navan O'Mahony's team, they now take the field, and they of course are led by Alan Riley, the midfielder wearing number 8. He will captain the Navan O'Mahony side. As I say, they've won the Keegan Cup 15 times. Trim have won it once, and indeed Trim will certainly be hoping to win the big one today. Before we talk any more about statistics or teams, we might talk to a man that's just here beside me. Probably, certainly today, he is more than likely the oldest Trim supporter here, Paddy Gantley. Paddy, you're welcome to Park Thalton. You're welcome to Park Thalton.
Oh, thank you.
Are Trim going to win?
But please God.
Okay.
Good man.
By how much?
About 4 pints.
Okay. A confident Paddy Gantley, as I said, the oldest Trim supporter here in Park Thalton. The teams are out on the field, limbering up. And as I say, the only change on the Trim team, or perhaps the one that there was doubt about, is the fact that Kevin Meehan, with number 18 on his back, he plays at centre field. Okay, the Trim team standing for their photographs. Included, of course, and that was Martin McCormick, the trainer of the team. Jimmy Fay with the bib, of course. Jimmy, former Meath inter-county footballer. And all the substitutes were included in that particular shot. As they make their way away from the main photograph, we take the 15 starting men for Trim today, and they are, of course, as I mentioned, Kieran Dempsey, Darren Mullen, Michael O'Leary the captain, and Kevin Walsh the full back line, Brian Smith, David Murray and Benny Murray. Centre field, Darren Fay and Kevin Meehan. The half forward line, Paddy Hegarty, Ronan Fitzsimons and Colin McHugh. And the full forward line, Enda Markey, Declan Murray and Aaron Fay. Of course, Aaron Fay, a brother of Darren's. Darren, the only man in the Trim team with an All-Ireland Senior Football medal, of course, Footballer of the Year last year. There was a lot of speculation that Darren perhaps might play in defence today for Trim, but so far in the championship that temptation has been resisted. Darren has played at midfield and done tremendous work there, so we'll have to see how this match goes. There's always the possibility that perhaps Trim might, depending on how the game goes, Trim might just want to use Darren Fay in defence. We will have to wait and see if that is the case. They're all kicking and limbering around. Down on our right hand side, the full Navan O'Mahony squad, and of course in there is Alan Riley, of course, the captain, Davy Nelson, their coach and trainer, and what a marvellous job he has actually done to get this Navan O'Mahony side to this year's final. The two most unlikely teams probably in the championship this year have made it through to the county final, but of course there's no denying the Navan O'Mahony's record. They've won 15 Keegan Cups since it was first presented in 1953. That's a tremendous record. The last one was in 1990 when they defeated Summerhill in a replay. And of course that was a match marked by some of the former Meath greats of the late 80s and the early 90s. Like Mick Lyons for playing, of course, with Summerhill, and of course the Navan O'Mahony's man that comes to mind would of course be Joe Castles. The teams line up behind the Navan Silver Band. Of course, in there, number 8 in the red jersey for Trim is Darren Fay, the man who played at full-back for Meath in last year's All-Ireland, has his All-Ireland medal, was Young Footballer of the Year, and of course got the All-Star full-back position. The Navan O'Mahony's team, well, I suppose the most talked about man on their lineup is their number 14 at the tail all but the second last man on that lineout, and that of course is Damien Sheridan, a man who's won 2 Meath Senior Football Championships with Navan O'Mahony's, won 1 Senior Football Championship with Raymore United in Cavan, and then emigrated to Birmingham and won 3 Warwickshire Senior Football Championships with John Mitchell's in Warwickshire, and has played of course in 1974, the same Damien Sheridan played with Cavan minor footballers in an Ulster final, and in 1986 played in an Ulster final with Cavan seniors, and as well as that has played of course inter-county football with Meath. In fact, Darren Fay's dad, who is the trainer of this or the coach of this Trim team, Jimmy Fay, would have played inter-county football with the same Damien Sheridan. Lone man down here beside us with the ball, tapping it towards the dugout. Of course, one of the veterans of the Trim team, played earlier in the championship. Of course, that's CJ Murtha, and CJ didn't play in the semi-final.
The Trim line out in goals: number 1, Kieran Dempsey; right cornerback wearing number 2, Darren Mullen; fullback
the Navan Silver Band doing the honours today as they parade down along the far side of the terraces, and of course they're a familiar sight here on county final day in Páirc Tailteann. The weather, well, as we look around us, a massive improvement on what we got the last few days. There were very downhearted people all over the county hoping that the rain would go away. It did successfully, and we're delighted to say that probably conditions couldn't be any better than they are. There's no doubt the wind not of any major significance, so it's all getting ready. We're just about, by my timing, about 8 or 9 minutes from kick-off time as the band and the teams come across towards us here in the commentary position, and we get ready for the 1997 Meath Senior Football Championship. Once again, it's Navan O'Mahony's 15 times winners facing Trim winners 1 time in 1962.
The O'Mahony's line out in goals: Donald Smith; wearing number 2, right cornerback, Brian O'Grady; fullback wearing number 3, Brian Riley; and left fullback wearing number 4, Brendan Murray; right halfback wearing number 5, Conal O'Brick; centre halfback number 6, Kenny McGurk; and left halfback number 7, Darren Thorne.
The teams break away from the band after the parade, and the teams being announced over the public address system just at the moment.
Gary Nelson; centre forward number 11, Colin Kane; and left half forward wearing number 19, Damien Hillard.
The referee today, of course, out in the centre of the field is Jimmy Henry, a very well-known inter-county referee in both Westmeath and indeed Meath. Has refereed a number of both senior hurling and senior football finals in Westmeath, but for the first time today he's refereeing his first Meath senior football final. That's Jimmy Henry, the man from Clonmelon, doing all his refereeing now in Meath.
Today will be performed by a man who needs very little introduction to the Gaels of Meath. He had a long and distinguished inter-county career, starting back in 1958. He captained Meath for their 3rd All-Ireland title in 1967 and led Victoria's Meath team to Australia in 1968. I want you to give a very warm welcome to Peter Darby of Trin.
The man doing the ceremonial throw-in today, Peter Darby, on the right-hand side as he walks out to the centre of the field, accompanied by Fintan Ginnity, the chairman of the Meath County Board. Of course, Peter Darby started his inter-county career in 1958 and was captain of the Trim team in 1962 that actually won the Meath Senior Football Championship for Trim for the one and only time. He's doing the honours today, and indeed very appropriate that he might be. My watch says that we've got about 5-6 minutes to the actual official starting time, and we're going to have to see what happens. The ceremonial throw-in has taken place. We'll have to see if the referee will wait until the stroke of 3:45. Peter Darby being escorted off the pitch by Fintan Ginnity, the chairman of the Meath Football Board. And we're all set. The players have taken up the positions. We're not quite sure who won or who lost the toss, but looking around us, it looks as if Trin are playing from right to left. We're playing, Trim are playing from the right to left, and the referee obviously has been instructed by my watch. Well, we've got 5 minutes to start off time, so the referee waiting, the band getting ready to play our Ron Navan. The national anthem, the formalities all completed. We're just seconds away from the start of the 1997 Meath Senior Football Championship. The referee waits for the Navan Silver Band to leave the pitch before he will throw in the ball. The Navan team, well, we've got one changed in the half-forward line. Damien Hilliard, wearing number 19, takes his place at the expense, I think, of Martin O'Reilly. That's something we'll check for you as the game progresses. The crowd impatient. The referee checking with his umpires, making sure everything is in order. We don't know who won the toss. As we look now, Navan are playing from the hospital end towards the town end. The ball is in and the game is on, and the first to break away is Navan with Derek Doonan. He tries to find his partner in midfield, Alan Riley. He gets and sends a low ball into the left corner. There's a bit of tugging going on in there, but the ball breaks in behind. Referee didn't see that. Michael O'Leary picks it up, looks around him and clears it out the centre. Darren Fay goes for it. Darren wears the gloves. Hand passes the ball out to the left hand side here, but it was a bad ball there. Number 8, Alan Riley, picks it up and sends it back in, but Kevin Walsh, the man who was being tussled to the ground just a minute ago, gets it. This time he's fouled, and this time it's a free out to Trim. And Benny Murray taps that ball back, and the free is taken quickly. It comes down here to Colm McHugh. Colm gets it on the ground. He looks for somebody. He finds Enda Markey. Yes, Ronan Fitzsimons to Benny Murray, playing at half back. About 35 metres out, there's Navan O'Mahony's men all over the place to his brother Declan. Declan left-footed, is going to the right. The goalkeeper, Donald Smith, comes out to that, and eventually it's cleared out to the far side of the field by Darren Byrne, taken by Colm Kane, another man who would have played inter-county football with Meath, but his ball is not good. It's met by Brian Smith. He comes across this side of the field. He tries to find Aaron Fay, but the ball beats him. It's going very close to the sideline. It's gone over the sideline, and it's a line ball this time to Navan O'Mahony's, and that will be taken by Brian O'Grady. A little bit going on here off the ball between Aaron Fay and his counterpart Cathal O'Brick there, but nothing more than just players sorting one another out. The sideline will be taken by Cathal O'Brick. Benny Murray is in there, so too is Mick O'Leary, but it's a Navan man who gets the ball. Alan Riley again. He started well for the Navan men. Davy Carlin with it now. Davy Carlin. The ball was taken off from there and went as far as Kevin Meehan. Out this side of the field to Darren Fay, and again he finds Colm McHugh. This is good football from Trim. The crowd want him to take his point. He's fouled, Jimmy Henry says. 35 metres out. It's a free in to Trim, and they have started well. This free will be taken, no doubt, by Declan Murray, a man who has scored 30 points so far for the Trim men in the championship. He takes his time, and it's gone to the right and it's gone wide. First wide of the match. We've gone about 3 minutes into it, and that's not a confidence boosting start for Declan, but he's an experienced man, no doubt. He'll overcome that. Donald Smith, a long kick out to the middle of the field, broken down there by Kevin Meehan. Out to this side of the field, Navan going on the attack again. The man coming out to it is David Hosey. This is the danger man. He's been shepherded very well there by Kevin Walsh. A left-footed low ball into Damien Sheridan, the danger man. Damien is out first to it, and it's a point. First score of the match. 3.5 minutes gone. Damien Sheridan puts Navan O'Mahony's in front. The clouds have closed in over Park Talton. The rain has started to come down just a little bit, and let's hope that it doesn't come down too heavily and spoil the game. The kick out from the 20-metre line. O'Mahony's lead 1 point to Trim's no score. Declan Murray had a chance of a point just a few minutes ago. It goes to Darren Fay, but it breaks away from him. Colin McHugh, a Trim boot to it, but it only goes as far as Brian Grady, who was out first to that in front of Aaron Fay, and he sends his side attacking again. Michael O'Leary got that ball away from Damien Sheridan, and Trim come out from the attack again. Kevin Meehan slipped as he went for that ball. He was fouled there by an Navan right in the centre of the field, and he takes that free himself quickly. He tries to find Ronan Fitzsimons, but Brian Riley gets it, and he finds Alan Riley, the centre field man. Started very well for them. He's still trying to find Damien Sheridan again. Damien is on the ground. Michael O'Leary is with him. He slipped that time, but he gets the ball out as far as Derek Doonan. Derek turns and right-footed, sends a high ball in. In there is Walshy and David Hosey. He was fouled. It's a free in to Navan O'Mahony's, and the referee has spotted that one. In fact, just a little bit earlier, about 3 minutes ago, the same two players, David Hosey and Kevin Walsh, were tussling. In fact, it was the Navan man who brought Kevin Walsh to the ground. Nothing happened, but this time it's a free into Navan O'Mahony's, and David Hosey is the man with the ball. 19-year-old Navan's youngest player going for the second point. 2 points to Navan O'Mahony's, 1 point to Trim, and exactly 5 minutes gone. A good start for Navan O'Mahony's. They're experienced backs showing up well, and Damien Sheridan causing a few problems in there for the Trim defence. Little or no wind affecting the play so far. Kieran Dempsey doesn't quite get as good a kick as we would have hoped from there, but David Murray gets it, and he finds in turn Darren Fay. Darren back to Benny Murray. Benny wearing the bicycle shorts down here into the left corner. Aaron Fay had his back to that ball, and it's cleared out by the Navan defence. Darren Fay goes for it again, but Kevin Walsh calls for it, and Kevin makes it his. Out into the centre of the field. Declan Murray moving out on the 40, wearing number 14. He sends it over to the far side of the field, but it's well fielded there by the Navan defence, and the man with it is Brendan Murray, an experienced man, sends his side attacking once again. Kevin Walsh didn't know whether to go for that ball or not, but his marker did, David Hosey. He sends a dangerous ball in there, but it just doesn't go into Damien Sheridan's hands, and it's well taken by Michael Leary. He's fouled and a free out. He finds Kevin Meehan. He's tackled by Derek Doonan, but Meehan still with the ball, and it's not a good ball out of defence there. It's picked up by Cathal Brick, but he in turn is tackled by Meehan, and he wins it back, and he's fouled on the halfway line. A free to Trim. A little bit of Kevin Meehan throws the ball rather gently, nothing to worry about. Navan man Alan Riley puts a boot in there. Darren Fay is the man who's going to take this free. Jimmy Henry lets the play continue as Darren kicks that ball over the far side of the field, and it's well fielded there by Darren Byrne, the left half back, who finds Kenny McGurk for Navan O'Mahony's, and he sends a ball down the middle. Sheridan is coming out to it again. He's on the ground again. It's a Trim boot to it towards the sideline. Chasing it there is Colm Kane. It goes over the line, but it was a Trim man that kicked it over, so it's a line ball just on the inside the 50-metre line. It's a quick ball, but it's a bad one, and Kevin Meehan playing at centre field wearing number 18. He started very well for Trim. He just took a little knock there in that tackle. He has been awarded a free, and the referee goes back to see how badly injured he is. I don't think it's too bad, but the referee is not Jimmy Henry, of course. Clonmel man, member of the Kinskeer club. Well, he's taking no chances with it. He's making sure that the player is fine. We've got 8 minutes of this game gone, and players talking to one another out there. The umpire is calling over the referee, wants to have a word with somebody. While this we've got this lull in play, it's worth remembering the path to the finals. Jimmy Henry is calling over Navan O'Mahony's Derek Doonan, and he's actually putting his name in the book. So it was Derek Doonan who was having a few words, I think, with Darren Fay. The path to the final, but for Trim, of course, they started against Walterstown and they lost in that in Kilmessan 10 points to 11, and the play has restarted. Trim attacking again. They just haven't really got past that half back line yet. That Navan O'Mahony's defence is actually tightening up and showing all of their experience. The ball is with Derek Doonan. He's been tackled there. It's been cleared out by Brian Smith along the ground, but it goes over the line and it's a line ball to Navan O'Mahony's. It's quickly taken, but again it's not a well taken one by Navan O'Mahony's, and it's recovered by Brian Smith of Trim, and he's fouled, and it's a free out to the Trim man. We'll have to wait and see. Brian Smith himself will probably take this, and he does, left-handed down the far side. It's off a Trim boot, but cleared by Navan O'Mahony's. There's a foul after the ball was kicked, and it's a free in to Navan O'Mahony's from where that ball dropped about 35 metres out. The scoreline, Navan O'Mahony's 2 points, Trim no score, and we've got 9 minutes of this first half of the Meath 1997 senior football final gone. The free will be taken again by David Hosey, and he has sent that over the bar. Another point for Navan O'Mahony's. Trim are at the point now where they certainly need to get a score on the scoreboard to give themselves a little bit of confidence. They trail by 3 points with 10 minutes of the first half gone. Kieran Dempsey has had a few kickouts. The last one not all that good, so we'll have to see how he gets on with this one. He steps back from it. It's somewhat better. Over to the right hand side, Brian Smith goes for it. The ball breaks. It's picked up there by Colm Kane. He's going attacking, left footed ball high. It's dangerous, but it goes to the left and it goes wide. Kieran Dempsey has certainly been the busier of the two goalkeepers so far with the kickouts. This one, of course, comes as a result of that wide from Navan O'Mahony's. Right, Brian Smith meets that kick out there. Darren Fay makes himself available. Alan Riley is close with him. He's certainly tackling very heavy. Kevin Walsh clears it out to the far side of the field. Foul there. Free to Trim. That will be taken by David Murray at centre half back. He sends it on in to Colm Markey. He didn't pick it up, and it runs as far as Gary Nelson, the Navan O'Mahony's wing forward, going down along the far wing. He's been hassled there and harried by Darren Mullen, but he gets inside him. He's still going with the ball. He goes for a score, and again it goes to the left and wide. That's 2 wides for the Navan O'Mahony's men. Well, with 12 minutes of this match gone, Navan O'Mahony, certainly the defence, have asserted themselves well. Trim haven't got into this game as of yet. A foul on a Navan O'Mahony's man out there in the centre of the field, and it's a free to him. The player who is down, in fact, is Gary Nelson. He lost his boot as well. And the referee allows him put his boot back on, but it is free in to the Navan men. Alan Riley, the Navan O'Mahony's captain, will take this one. The pharmacist works in Navan. He's not happy with that. It goes to the right, off Damien Sheridan's hand, breaks out way to the right. It's chased there by Colm Kane. He tries a left-footed ball low in. He's trying to find Damien Sheridan, but well shepherded there by Michael O'Leary, and Darren Fay comes in and cleans up the ball. Darren is helping out in defence, and at the present time they certainly need a little bit of help in defence. He takes that free to Declan Murray, who plays it into space here. This is a promising looking attack, goes to Ronan Fitzsimons. Ronan is being chased by Brian Riley. He's inside the 13-metre line. He's trying to make room for himself. He goes for his score. And it goes left of the upright and it goes wide. That was a good chance, but it certainly, well, it was a little bit more promising. It started in defence. Darren Fay to Declan Murray, in turn to Ronan Fitzsimons, but it was a chance. But the score remains O'Mahony's 3 points, Trim no score. Donald Smith, long kick out. Meehan goes up for it for Trim. Also going up for it there was Colin McHugh, who got it and kicks a low ball in. But Simons comes out to it. He beats Brian Riley to that one. He's caused a little bit of trouble. A good attack here. Declan Murray is inside. Declan is hesitant. Declan is blocked out by two of the Navan defenders. He gets the ball again and is fouled on the ground there. It's a free in. It's the foul in fact on Ronan Fitzsimons. It's a free in to Trim on the 13-metre line. But they were two very dangerous looking attacks from Trim. A little bit more what we come to expect of Trim. The swashbuckling football they've been playing. Declan, well, he beats the ground with his hand there as he waits to regain his wind. I think he'd be probably a little bit disappointed with himself. There was certainly a goal chance there. We've got 14 minutes gone, 13 metres out. First score for Trim. Navan O'Mahony's 3 points, Trim 1 point. Exactly quarter of the match gone, and Trim certainly needed that score. I think the last minute or so we've just seen how dangerous the Trim attack can be. They need to spread it around and play some of that swashbuckling football we've seen of them in earlier rounds. A bad kick out by Donald Smith. Ronan Fitzsimons picks it up. He's on his way in. There's O'Mahony's players all over him. He goes for his point and he kicks it wide. That was Paddy Hegarty, ran all the way in there. He had a chance, but it appeared to me as if perhaps he might have got a little clip as he went to kick that ball. Donald Smith with the kick out, and just as we look out, Ronan Fitzsimons, in fact, at number 11 playing at full forward, and the man that made that attack, Colin McHugh, look very, very alike. It's a Trim ball, sideline, quick ball in. Ronan Fitzsimons is out to this. He beats Brian Riley. He makes room for himself, and with style, 2 points for Trim. 15 and a half minutes gone, 2 points for Trim, 3 points for Navan O'Mahony's, and they've been 3 Trim attacks. They've yielded 2 points and a wide, but perhaps they showed us how dangerous this Trim attack can be, but they certainly need to spread that ball around. Donald Smith, former Meath goalkeeper, a Garda from Slane, steps up to that, and it's a better kick out this time. Darren Fay is going up for it. Darren Fay makes it his own. It breaks away from him, but Benny Murray is there. Darren Fay is fouled. It's a free to the Trim men, just inside their own 65. Referee Jimmy Henry talks to some of the players. Peter Fox, the linesman, picks the ball up, and Jimmy Henry brings the ball forward. There has been a little bit of niggling from the Navan O'Mahony's men, particularly on Darren Fay. He takes a quick free. It goes as far as Paddy Hegarty. He's 35 metres out. He's running into O'Mahony's men all over the place. Kevin Meehan takes it. He finds Aaron Fay, number 15, finds his brother Darren. They're running nowhere. Darren decides to take a few of them on. He passes the ball to Kevin Meehan. They've been closed down. Ronan Fitzsimons has it. Ronan goes from 45 metres and he pulls that to the left and he pulls it wide. But I think again we have an example there of the tightness of this Navan O'Mahony defence. Trim went around in circles there, just inside the 45, and O'Mahony stood their ground, and eventually Ronan Fitzsimons had a go, but pulled the ball to the left and pulled it wide. Donald Smith with the kick out. Kevin Meehan beats it down, but it runs as far as Cahill Brick. He beats Colin McHugh and sends O'Mahony's attacking again. Kevin Walsh is underneath this along with David Hosey. David Hosey and Walshy are having a personal duel in there. The ball breaks to Benny Murray and he passes it out to Kevin Walsh, and Kevin beats Damien Sheridan's tackle and sends Trim attacking again. Running to it is Fitzsimons. Fitzy didn't get that one up, as the crowd are calling him, and Derek Doonan sends Navan attacking again. Another big high ball. Mick O'Leary again wins that tussle, and it breaks out to Brian Smith on just outside the 20-metre line. He beats an Navan O'Mahony's man. He has another one to meet now. He beats him as well, and the referee says it's a free to him, so he kicks it down the far side of the field. Oh, Navan O'Mahony's man, he finds Alan O'Reilly in the middle of the field. Little bit loose there in the centre of the field. Way down into the far corner, into space. Running back in there is Darren Mullen. It goes towards the end line. Darren Mullen gets it. He's fouled. The Trim cornerback is fouled. He takes a quick free and finds Darren Fay. Darren in turn finds David Murray down along the far side of the field there, coming out to it with number 13 on his back is Markey, and eventually the ball comes up to Markey. He beats a tackle. It's punched as far as Declan Murray on the 45-metre line. He punches it into space. Aaron Fay comes out to it. Brian O'Grady watching him. He's not going anywhere. He kicks the ball up in the air. Declan Murray takes that ball well. He's tackled just outside the 20-metre line. He goes to ground. The ball is on the ground. He gets it up again. Inside to Colin Markey. Colin Markey goes for a point, but he didn't kick it well. He got rid of that very, very quickly. But it's the clearance goes as far as David Murray. David sends me the Trim man attacking again. The Trim men attacking again, but this time it's cleared out by Brendan Murray. Darren Fay going for it. Darren is pulled to ground there. It's a free. The referee spotted that well. The crowd react to that. And Darren takes the free himself on the 20-metre line. Looked like a push on the back. It is a push on the back, says the referee. Brian Riley, the culprit. Free into Trim. Scoreline: O'Mahony's Navan 3 points, Trim 2 points, and this is a free that will be taken by Declan Murray. And we mustn't forget that Declan missed one early on, just after the start of the match, but I think he has settled down somewhat now, and this should be the leveller. We've got 20 minutes of the match gone, and Declan Murray stands beside Jimmy Henry. There's a Trim player being attended to while Declan Murray takes the free straight over the bar. The sides are level. 20 minutes gone, and it's been a very productive 5 minutes, the last 5 minutes for Trim. They've had 5 attacks, they've scored 4 points, 3 points from that, and they've levelled the match. Paddy Hegarty needed a little bit of attention there, but he's okay now. Donald Smith kicks the ball out to this side of the field. Benny Murray comes to it. The ball skid along the slippery ground. It goes over the line ball, and it's over the line, and it's a line ball to the Trim man. Well shepherded there by Benny Murray, playing at left half-back for the Trim man, and it's a line ball to Trim. Darren Fair has been doing an awful lot of defensive work. He's been back playing quite a lot in the half-back line. He will take this sideline cut. It's a good one into the middle. His brother Aaron is under it. He flicks on, but it's picked up there by Brian O'Grady, who sends a man. He's attacking again. Damien Sheridan came for that. The hop almost beat him. It did, in fact, but Benny Murray intercepts that pass very well there, and he in turn finds Brian Smith coming out to this side of the field, left-footed, and he also finds Colin McHugh. He's on the ground, and the referee says he's fouled. There's a little bit of hassle going on. Navan O'Mahony's, the man involved again is Alan Riley. Few players getting involved there, but a little unnecessary that. But certainly Alan Riley, the Navan O'Mahony's man playing in the middle of the field, should be spoken to, because he's now talking to Jimmy Fay, the Trim coach and trainer, who shouldn't probably be out there anyway. Jimmy, you shouldn't be out there. But certainly Alan Riley, that's the third or fourth time. He can't continue to get away with it. We'll have to wait and see if the referee does anything later about it. The free is taken there, and it's collected by Colin McHugh. He's bottled up by a number of O'Mahony's backs, only as far as Donald Smith in goals, and he sweeps it out here to the side. The man with it now is Alan Riley. Aaron Fay comes to tackle him, takes him, fouls him, and Riley takes the free himself, sends a high ball in, seeking out Damien Sheridan, who flicks that ball in behind the defence, but the Trim defence were alert to that, and it's Brian Smith who picked it up, and he finds Benny Murray. Benny is in a little bit of trouble there with a number of O'Mahony's players, but Brian Smith gets it again. It's half blocked and it's a line ball to the Trim men. And Darren again, back in the half-back line. He takes that, sends a long ball into the middle, into space. Who's going to come for it? It's a Navan O'Mahony's player who gets it. He taps it on his left foot and sends it on in to Alan Riley. Alan is tackled by Darren Fay. He's not letting him pass, but he finds Darren Byrne, and Darren Byrne goes on a solo run. Kevin Meehan comes across to him and upsets him there as he kicked that ball, and Benny Murray sends the ball in to Ronan Fitzsimons. Running out alongside him there is the Trim's Paddy Hegarty, but Fitzsimons was fouled. He waits, he looks for his options. Over this side to Colin Markey, away from his wing altogether. He picks that ball. He's been closely marshalled by Brendan Murray, and he in turn finds Ronan Fitzsimons. Fitzsimons gets on the 20-metre line. Brian Riley is struggling. He's inside him. He finds a loose Trim man over the far side of him. It's Colin McHugh. It was a goal chance. It's a 50 or a 45 in metres. Another chance there. The Trim attack again showing how dangerous that they can be. They've had a couple of chances, but I think the Navan O'Mahony's defence are also showing how tenacious they are as they eventually smothered out that attack from Trim. The 45 will be taken by Darren Fay, but there's a Navan man down injured. He's been attended to, so we'll have to wait and see. This 45 won't be taken until that happens. We've got almost 25 minutes of this first half gone. The scoreline, well, low scoring, but plenty of excitement. Trim and Navan O'Mahony's, 3 points to the Trim men, 3 points to Navan O'Mahony's, and we're not quite sure which of the Navan defenders that is that's down. I see Brendan Murray on his feet there, so we'll let you know. Also on his feet is Brian Riley. It's not Brendan Murray either, so we'll have to wait and see. Running through while we've got this little bit of a lull. Navan O'Mahony's have been under some pressure. They'll be glad of this break in Trim's concentration. I mentioned a little earlier, Trim started their championship run with a loss against Walterton, but follow that up by beating Dunderry, Summerhill, Senchestown, Carnaross and Cortown. We're back to the play. Darren Fay will take this 45. It's a good kick, but it's gone to the right and it's gone wide. It had the distance. The scoreline remains 3 points to the Trim men, to the Reds, 3 points to the Blues, Navan O'Mahony's, and we've got exactly 25 and a half minutes of this first half gone. It's a close match. O'Mahony's dominated the first quarter. So far in the second quarter, Trim have dominated. The ball is kicked out. Benny Murray goes for it. It breaks away from him, but he recovers it. He sends a low ball in. He finds Colin Markey. It bounces off his chest, but he recovered it well. There's two O'Mahony's men around him. He tries to get out. He's on the ground. He looks like he might overcarry it. The referee says yes, he did. A little harsh perhaps, but well, he did overcarry it. Darren Mullen comes out to that ball, but the man coming out with it, Davy Carlin, gets it. It's a free there to the Navan side, and it's a free in about just 47 metres out, and this will be taken. It's just outside the Trim 45. It's a high ball. It's not a good kick again by Alan Riley, but Damien Sheridan gets it just on the edge of the big penalty box. It's in his hand. The referee says he's been held. The referee says it's a free in to the big Navan O'Mahony's man, the veteran of the Navan O'Mahony side, indeed the veteran of this senior football final. This, well, on the 13-metre line, David Hosey will take this, of course, Navan O'Mahony's top player. Little bandage on his right leg, just under the knee. And it's 4 points, Navan O'Mahony's, 3 points to Trim. 27 minutes of this first half gone. O'Mahony's, of course, well, they're the unbeaten side in the championship. They started off with a first round win over Cortown, followed up by defeating Kilmainham Wood, Ballinlough, Oldcastle, all of the North Meath sides in fact, and then the local derby, they beat Simonstown Gales 1-8 to 9 points. Ball has been kicked out and Mick O'Leary clears it there for Trim, way over to the far side of the field. Running onto it there is Paddy Hegarty, and very cleverly he lets it into Colin Markey, who's fouled between the 13 metre and the 21 metre line. A free into Trim, a quick chance for Trim to equalise again, and it's just to the right of the Navan O'Mahony's uprights, the hospital end of the ground. A small breeze as we look across, blowing probably straight over into the stand, not having any major effect on the play. Declan Murray, another point for him, another point for Trim. The sides are level. We've got 2.5 minutes to half time, 4 points apiece for them. We've got 2 minutes to half time. Donald Smith comes out to kick out this ball. It's just outside the 20 metre line, and a big kick out from the Slane Garda towards this line. Not a good one. It's a line ball to Trim, just inside the Navan O'Mahony's half of the field. Darren Fay will take it. A long kick. He tries to find Ronan Fitzsimons. He broke it down, but the ball was picked up there by Brian O'Grady, who in turn finds Alan Riley. He attempts to get out with the ball. Brendan Murray, a veteran of the defence, gets it, but it clears it, and not a good clearance. Darren Fay looking for his options, sends the ball into the right wing. Enda Markey is in there. He gets it. He's been tackled. He's been held there. It's a penalty. The referee says a penalty to Trim. Navan protest. Trim spectators come running down from the hill at the back of the goals. They're celebrating, but we have to wait and see if this penalty will result in a score. They're obviously very hopeful it'll be a goal for Trim. Donald Smith will face it. Declan Murray will take it. We've got a minute to half time. The sides are level. Trim 4 points. Navan O'Mahony's 4 points. Declan Murray to take this penalty. Donald Smith to face him in the hospital end. The referee sends everyone away. Will he score it? No, it's saved. A tremendous save from Donald Smith. And the half-time whistle goes at the same time. So no change in that. The scoreline remains 4 points to Trim, 4 points to Navan O'Mahony's, and Declan Murray will be a little disappointed perhaps with himself. He's taken better penalties, but at least the sides are still level. It has been a game of 2 quarters, the first half so far. Navan dominating the first 15 minutes, and of course Trim dominated that last 15 minutes. That penalty, of course, the big miss. So there we have it. It's half time here in Navan as the Navan Silver Band come back on the field. The sides are level. That penalty miss would have been a great opportunity for Trim to take a lead at a vital time, but the scoreline reads at half time in the 1997 Meath Senior Football Final. Trim 4 points, Navan O'Mahony's 4 points. Mickey!
He's a guy like you to run the show. Didn't even think that you were even here.
Jimmy Fay just having a word there with substitute Kevin Meehan. Well, he's not the substitute. He came on right from the start. There was always doubts as to who might play at Sandyville, but Jimmy, of course, former Meath footballer of the year in the mid-80s, and of course the dad of Darren Fay and Aaron, who are playing on the Trim team in today's final. All the selectors standing there: Peter Flynn, Martin McCormack, Brendan Dempsey, and of course the furthest away, the former Meath great Jack Quinn, of course, who would have played and won an All-Ireland with Meath in 1967 and a National Football League title in 1975. set. The teams, O'Mahony's the last to take the field for the second half of the senior football semi-final, or final rather, 1997. Trim and O'Mahony's, the sides are level on 4 points each. Right, we're getting ready to start. It looks like Navan O'Mahony's are making a substitution. Very experienced man with half a dozen senior football championships to his credit. Finian Murtha, number 22, he's in, and it looks like he's taken up a position on the 40. So we'll have to see who Navan O'Mahony's have taken off. But Finian Murtha, and the ball is in, and the second half is on. First to attack is again Navan O'Mahony's. Derek Doonan going down the middle. He's followed there by Kevin Meehan, but he goes for his score. It goes into Kieran Dempsey's hands, and it goes over the bar. A point there for Derek Doonan. It gives O'Mahony's the lead within seconds of the restart. It looked for just a few seconds that Kieran Dempsey might have got that ball in his hand and held onto it, but well, he just made sure it didn't drop into the top of the net. So O'Mahony's lead 5 points to Trim's 4. 30 seconds into the second half. Kieran Dempsey with the kick out. That's a good kick out, dropping in the centre of the field. Kevin Meehan goes up for it. Finian Murtha quickly transfers it into Gary Nelson. He goes on a solo run. He's being followed there by Brian Smith. He goes for another score. It drops into the hands, onto the chest of Kieran Dempsey, who clears it out to Mick O'Leary, and he's been hassled there by young David Hosey and Damien Sheridan, but he gets his clearance in out as far as Declan Murray, out almost at the centre of the field. He hits that ball over the sideline, and it's a line ball to Navan O'Mahony's, and Declan Murray hasn't returned to his feet as of yet, but he looks like he's suffering a little bit. His ankle, or it looks like a foot injury, and
number 19, Damien Hillary.
Sideline taken for Navan O'Mahony's. Darren Fay goes up along with Alan Riley. The ball punches away from the ball, and it's punched further on there by David Murray, and running alongside him is Paddy Hegarty. Hegarty going on a run again. He's selling dummies to Darren Byrne, but he's running into a cul-de-sac there. The O'Mahony's defence the referee says, has fouled him. It's a free into Trim, about 55 metres out, and that free, well, it'll be taken again by their score taker in chief, Declan Murray, a man who scored 2 of the 4 points so far, to add to the 2 that Ronan Fitzsimons has scored. The breeze, well, it seems to have changed a little bit, slightly in favour of Trim. Declan kicks a long ball in. It's dropping down just to the left, and it's dropping just wide. That was a long way out. He was, well, at least 54 or 5 metres out, but just about failed to get the distance. But it's another wide for Trim. Donald Smith kicks the ball out over to the far side of the field. Underneath it is Benny Murray, not the tallest man on the field, but it goes as far as Kevin Meehan, who covers it, collects it up. He finds Benny Murray. These Navan backs are tackling tenaciously. He sends it over to this side of the field, where it comes as far as Paddy Hegarty again. He sends it further on in again. Ronan Fitzsimons went up for that. Brendan Murray comes out for it, and the ball comes as far as Aaron Fay, who tackles him, and it's a free out. He sends the free kick over to the far side of the field to Finian Murtha, the half-time substitution, who has come in and replaced Damien Hilliard, who was a substitute for Martin Riley in the first place. The ball is with Derek Doonan dropping it in high. It's collected in there very well and tenaciously by Darren Mullen, who gets it out to Michael O'Leary. His jersey is tugged, the fabric is tested, and it's a free out there from 25 metres out. It's a free out to the Trim man. The afternoon has brightened up somewhat here in Navan. The ball being cleared there by Navan O'Mahony's. It goes as far as Derek Doonan. He in turn finds out here on this side of the field Gary Nelson in a little bit of space. Declan Murray seems to have moved out a little bit. He's shepherding him just a bit. He's 30 metres out. He tries to get by Declan Murray. He's fouled by Declan Murray, the referee Jimmy Henry says, and it's a free for Navan O'Mahony's. David Hosey again, the man who's taken the frees for O'Mahony's. He's just outside the 21 metre, or the 20 metre line rather. It's a good ball. It's another point. It comes in off the edge of the upright. A point to Navan O'Mahony's. 6 points to them, 4 points to Trim, and we've gone 4 minutes into this second half. started as well, more or less the first half started with Navan O'Mahony's. They dominated for the first 15 minutes. Well, the first 4 minutes of this second half, O'Mahony's are dominating again. Trim will need to get their act together. Kieran Dempsey with the kick out. Drops just short of the centre field. Darren Fay goes up for it and it runs as far as Brian Smith. He sends Trim attacking again. Fitzsimons comes out to it. He's tackled by a couple of men, but he gets the ball. He's looking for his options. Navan O'Mahony's are closing up. He's still on a solo and he's just outside the 20-metre line. He's in the exclusion zone for the penalties. He finds Declan Murray. Declan again is marked out. Darren Fay left-footed and Darren Fay sends it high and over the bar. And listen to the crowd respond to that point from Darren Fay. Probably the best score of the match so far. Trim 5 points, Navan O'Mahony 6 points. 5 minutes into the second half. And indeed, that was probably the best score of the match so far. Ronan Fitzsimons found very well and came out, turned around, found Darren Fay, and Darren, well, he's been helping his defence. He was there to help the attack that time with his left-footed ball high and over the bar. O'Mahony's attack again, that ball breaks dangerously, but the first man to react to it is Darren Mullen, and Darren left-handed passes it out to Benny Murray. Not a good effort by Benny. A foolish kind of a clearance by Benny, and Colm Kane, the Navan O'Mahony's man, is fouled. Benny should have perhaps taken a little more time on that, so it's a free in to Navan O'Mahony's. It's a high ball. Where is it going? Yes, it's over the bar. It looked for a minute, it was Colm Kane who tucked it, a man who indeed looks very much like Finian Murtha, and Finian of course would be well known for his sweet left foot. He's come on as a substitute at half time. 7 points to 5. Kieran Dempsey, the sun attempts to come out, part of the ground bathed in light sunshine as he steps back from it and sends the ball out to the centre of the field. Underneath it again is Darren Fay, but it runs to Kevin Meehan, his midfield partner. Here finds Paddy Hegarty. This man has shown it, attempted to set up a few dangerous attacks, but this time no, he misread his forwards and the ball is picked up by the Navan O'Mahony's defence, and it's a free out to them. Donal Smith will take this. He comes out 25 metres out, and that's a big kick from him. It goes across practically everybody's head. Coming out to meet it is Navan O'Mahony's Davy Carlin. He's tackled there by Darren Fay and also by Darren Mullen. The two Darrens on the Trim team took a heavy knock there, accidental it must be said. Davy Nelson, the Navan O'Mahony's manager, on his way in there had a little word with Darren Fay. Obviously didn't approve of the tackle, but Davy Caroline is still on the ground and he's being attended to. Pat Smith, the Navan selector there, having a word with the linesman there and asking him did he not see what happened there. The Davy Caroline is still down, he's been attended to there. Well, the sunshine coming out here in Páirc Tailteann, and indeed it's actually, well, at this point it's favouring Trim. It's in their backs as Davy Carolan recovers. The crowd have gone quiet while they wait, but it's a free into Navan O'Mahony's, and this will be taken by Alan Riley. He's just outside the 45 metre line. It's a high ball dropping to the right. Underneath it is Damien Sheridan. He was in the square, says the referee. It's a free out to Trim. They'll be glad of that. So the scoreline remains 2 points in it. Navan O'Mahony 7 points, Trim 5 points. And we've got just over 8 minutes of this second half gone. Kieran Dempsey kicks the ball out far side of the field, just outside the 20 metre line to Brian Smith. Smith, well, he in turn finds Darren Fay. Darren will kick a long ball in. It's flicked on there by another Trim man, but Aaron Fay came out to that. He wasn't alert enough to it, and it beats him, and O'Mahony's pick it up, and they went to go attacking again, but the ball goes as far as Colin McEvoy, a man who hasn't been in this match much. He's beaten by the Navan O'Mahony's man, and he fouls him as he goes away from him, so it's a free to O'Mahony's over on the far side of the field. This will be taken by Derek Doonan. High ball being dropped in. Damien Sheridan under it again. So too is Mick O'Leary. Ball goes to the end line. He tries to get to it, but it's picked up there by Navan O'Mahony's. David Hosey finds Finian Murtha, who breaks it back to Hosey, who goes for a score. The ball is dropping dangerously. Darren Fay is in there, and Darren in the right place gets his hand to it. A 45 to Navan, but that was dangerous. Ten minutes into this game, well, analysing it, Mahonys have started like they did in the first half. They're getting a lot of the ball around the middle of the field, a lot of the breaking ball. They've upped the ante a little bit in the forwards, but we'll have to wait and see. I see David McGuinness, the Trim substitute, warming up on the sideline. Well, one wonders if he'll come in. The 45 being taken by Alan Riley. It's a long ball, and it's to the right and wide. The Navan O'Mahony's number 8 took that 45 and did the very same, I'm afraid, as Darren Fay, his opposite number in the Trim camp in the first half, from a 45 from the same position. The kick out, or the goal kick to the Trim man, being taken by Kieran Dempsey, as the scoreline reads 5 points to Trim, 7 points to the Navan O'Mahony's men, as Darren Fay gets a great ball there from that kick out. The man to kick it on is Paddy Haggerty. It goes very close to the sideline, and another Navan O'Mahony's substitute there, number 16, Donald Finnegan, shepherds that ball over the sideline, and it's a line ball to them. Darren Brick on his own 45 will take, or Darren Byrne rather, will take the sideline. He kicks the ball. Damien Sheridan way out from his position. Finian Murtha sends his Gary Nelson on the run. He's on the 13-metre line. He's been chased by O'Leary. Goes for his score. It's a goal. It's a Navan O'Mahony's goal. A left-footed kick there by Gary Nelson. He beat Mick O'Leary, the Trim full back, and completely deceived Kieran Dempsey in goals. A goal to Navan O'Mahony's, 1 goal and 7 points to them, 5 points to Trim, and we've got 12 minutes of this second half gone. Trim have come back before, earlier in the championship, and they certainly need to do something now. A free out to Navan O'Mahony's. Brendan Murray will take that. Navan O'Mahony's man on the ground didn't seem to in fact, I don't think he has taken anything of a knock. It's perhaps just saving or killing a little bit of time. David McGuinness for Trim, a man who a lot of people thought might have started this match. Well, he's making his entry now, and it'll be interesting to see who he will be replacing. A couple of the Trim forward line not at the races so far. Enda Markey perhaps, Aaron Fay, we'll have to wait and see. It could be Colin McHugh, in fact, another man who hasn't really shown, and it is in fact Colin McHugh, who's been substituted by David McGuinness as Brian Smith is adjudged to have fouled Gary Nelson. It's a free into Navan O'Mahony's just inside the 45, and it's a free that will be taken again, this time by Derek Doonan. 1-7 O'Mahony's, 5 points Trim, 13 minutes gone. High and over the bar by Derek Doonan, another point for the Navan O'Mahony's men. That's 1 goal and 8 points to them, 5 points to Trim, and we've got 17 minutes of this second half left. Trim certainly need to do something about this. Trim certainly are struggling at this stage, need to get a score to get themselves back into the game, and if they're to hope to pull it out of the fire, they'll want to be doing it shortly. But O'Mahony's go attacking again. The ball out to this side of the field, being picked up again by Gary Nelson. He's causing a lot of problems. Benny Murray there this time to marshal him. He tries to get inside. The referee says he was fouled. It looked like a little bit of acting to me, but he's got his free, and that free will be taken by David Hosey.
Number 12, Colin McHugh.
Wide.
David Hosey, not a good free from him. Goes to the left, goes wide. Scoreline remains Navan O'Mahony's 1 goal and 8 points. Trim 5 points. Kieran Dempsey calls for a ball. He returns the one that he's got. He calls for another one. And Trim certainly need to get something moving now if they're to give themselves any hope of bringing the Keegan Cup back to Trim for the first time since 1962. Finian Murtha coming with this ball. He's left footed, little to the right. It's gone to the left, and it was Colm Kane in fact that came across with that ball. Kieran Dempsey with it again. He's certainly been kept busy. The sun has come out. It's in Trim's back. They certainly need to do something, but the half-back line and centre field, in spite of all the efforts of Darren Fay, well, they're struggling just a little bit at this stage. Darren Fay went for that ball, but again it was broken away from him. And the Navan O'Mahony's Gary Nelson is adjudged to have been fouled just inside the Trim 45, and they're at 6s and 7s just at the minute. The man with the ball is Derek Doonan, and the man running on there was Kenny McGurk playing at centre back for Navan, looking for a quick one, but no. Derek Doonan says no, and he kicks a high ball in. Again he goes for Sheridan, and O'Leary gets his hand to that, the Trim full back, and it breaks out, and David Murray clears that ball for Trim. Now can they get something go? Aaron Fay out in the middle of the field. He's a corner forward. He looks at his options. He kicks a ball in towards Declan Murray. It wasn't a good one, but it runs to Paddy Hegarty. Hegarty is being hassled and harried. It runs as far as Ronan Fitzsimons. In over the defence to Colin Markey. He gets a fist to it. It comes off Donald Smith. It's a 45. A dangerous Trim attack there. But Navan were equal to it just yet again. That Navan defence really are tackling tenaciously. The umpire down there on the left hand side who signalled that 45 was a Padder Byrne, a man who would have played with Ballinlough in 1962 against Trim when Trim won their one and only Keegan Cup. As Darren Fay kicks that ball over the bar, perhaps that'll be the little inspiration that Trim side require. That's 6 points for them, 1 goal and 8 points for Navan O'Mahony's. 5 points between the sides, and we've got 17 minutes of this second half gone, so there's 13 minutes to go. Can Trim do it? Time will tell. Sun is out, it's strong, it favours Trim. It's a bad kick from Donald Smith, but there's nobody from Trim watching that as Kevin Meehan goes in and tackles Darren Byrne as he cleared that ball. The ball over on the far side of the field. Out there with it. Trim going on the attack again. Aaron Fay came out to that ball. He let the hop beat him, and it goes as far as Brian Smith, who finds Darren Fay. It's a high ball in. Declan Murray is in there, but it hops all the way and in as far as Donald Smith. A man waving his hand for it is Brian O'Grady, who gets it and fits it on out as far as Alan Riley from Navan O'Mahony's, and Alan Riley will send a long clear and send his side attacking. Damien Sheridan under it again, gets a fist to it. It breaks, but Darren Mullen is there to pick that up. He tries to pass there. Oh, they almost caused themselves problems there, but David Murray got the ball and cleared it out the far side of the field, and Hegarty sends it on further. Declan Murray came out to that ball. He was being hassled and harried there by number 4, Brendan Murray. Brendan Murray playing at cornerback for Navan O'Mahony's. It's a free in to Trim on the 45-metre line. And of course, some words from the Navan men, and the ball is brought in by Jimmy Henry, so it'll give Declan Murray a better chance of getting a score from this. And Brendan Murray, the man that fouled there, of course, the former Monaghan player. He's the man who won a National Football League with Monaghan in 1985. This is a closer in free, just on the edge of the exclusion area for the 20-metre freeze. Declan Murray takes it, sends it high and over the bar. Another point for Trim. 7 points to them. 1-8 to Navan O'Mahony's. 4 points between the sides with 12 minutes to go.
Let it go, lads. Let it go.
Yes, indeed, and it has to be said that Trim are still there at this point. Navan O'Mahony's, well, the first 10 minutes of this half looked like they were about to kill Trim off, but that is not what happened. A man who was substituted early on, right from the start of the game, in fact, Martin Riley, he's come in as a substitute. We'll have to see who's going on for Navan. In fact, it's Davy Carolan who's going off. The man who's come in, Martin Riley, he was originally picked to play. Well, he's in the fray now. The ball is kicked out by Donald Smith. Darren Fay at centre field goes for that. He overstretched himself and is picked up by Navan O'Mahony's. And the man with it is Kenny McGurk playing at centre back, a man who played some rugby, of course, with Navan Rugby Club. The ball is with Derek Doonan just outside the Trim 45. Ronan Fitzsimons, the Trim full forward, in fact, walks past him as he takes this kick. It's going to the left. He lobs it well. Damien Sheridan breaks it, and he breaks it down to the man who's just come in, Martin Riley, the substitute. It's a high ball, and it's over the bar. He's just in. An extraordinary point. He's just in. He didn't get to start, but he's added another point to it, so it's 1-9 for Navan O'Mahony, 7 points for Trim. Exactly 10 minutes to go in this 1997 Meath Senior Football Final. Well, Damien Sheridan, the big, tall, 6'5" full forward for Navan O'Mahony, doesn't appear to be doing a lot, but he's breaking a lot of ball down, and it's causing trouble inside in that Trim defence. Again, O'Mahony's half-back line getting that ball from the kick-out, but it's a bad clearance, and it's over the line, a line ball to Trim here, down here in front of us, and Darren Mullen leaves that ball to Brian Smith, who takes it close to this sideline. It's collected there by the substitute, by David McGuinness, the boiler as he's called. His grandfather, who would have played with Navan O'Mahony's. Indeed, his father won a championship with O'Mahony's in 1973. Darren Fay takes the sideline and sends it way over the far side of space. Benny Murray is down forage, and he got a goal against Carnaross, the only Trim goal of the championship. He goes for a score. It's high, and he nearly did it again. Donald Smith had to flick that ball wide. I was just describing what Benny Murray did when Trim needed a goal against Carnaross in the final divisional match. They were trailing at the time by a point, and Benny Murray went down foraging and got a goal, and he almost deceived Donald Smith again. It's a 45. Darren Fay will take it. Trim 7 points. Navan O'Mahony's 1-9, and we've got just about 8 minutes of this game left. It's a long one. It's high. Has it got the direction? It's just to the right and wide. All the supporters cheered, but it went just to the right and wide, and it could have been a very valuable point for the Trim men. But still, they're not dead yet. There's 8 minutes to go. Donald Smith with the cap on, the sun in his eyes, and it probably didn't help him there when Benny Murray lobbed that ball into him. He kicks it out to the far side of the field again. Benny Murray is underneath it, but it's flicked on there as far as Kevin Meehan. It's on the ground again. It's foul there apparently by somebody. No, in fact it's an Navan O'Mahony's man that has been fouled. It's a free to them just on the halfway line. The free is taken, and over here as far as Darren Byrne. He sends O'Mahony's attacking again. Damien Sheridan got a hand to that, and off his hand and gone straight over the end line, and it's wide yet again. The ball is returned quickly to Kieran Dempsey for the kick out for the Trim men. The kick out by Kieran Dempsey. Darren Fay appeared to be fouled there, but Kevin Meehan got it. Sends it right footed towards this sideline. Enda Markey comes out to it. Couldn't hold on to it. Benny Murray has got it. And it does look as if there has been a positional switch. Benny Murray sends a long ball across the far side of the field. It's flicked on there by a Trim man. It comes to Ronan Fitzsimons. Ronan is trying to get space for himself. He goes for his score, and he pulls it to the left, and he pulls it wide. The Navan O'Mahony's defence are certainly closing as all the avenues possible, and Ronan had very few options there, and it wasn't really that his forwards weren't running off the ball. The Navan men had them all closed down. There's 2 points gone a begging that would have made a huge difference to the scoreboard, but with 6.5 minutes to go, Trim certainly need another score at this stage. Darren Fay is getting a buffeting in the middle of the field. It runs as far. It's sent in there by centre half-back David Murray, and Kieran Smith collected that ball in there for Navan O'Mahony's. He takes the free quickly and he finds Alan Riley. Alan Riley sends the ball over the far side of the field for O'Mahony's. Kevin Walsh coming out to it there. He shouldered the Navan O'Mahony's man, and he's been tackled there by Navan O'Mahony's. He gets his free. It was Finian Murtha there was tussling with him. Kevin Walsh just ooshed him out of the way. It's a free to Trim, and all this time wasting and delaying, well, that'll suit Navan O'Mahony's. 1-9 to O'Mahony, 7 points to Trim. Exactly 5 minutes by my stopwatch left, and a Navan player going down looking for attention. It's David Hosey, and I think perhaps we might be seeing some tactical stuff by the Navan O'Mahony's camp. In all the time that's delayed now, well, it'll be to their advantage. They'll lead by 5 points. The momentum that Trim were getting up, well, this delay again will stop it. And I don't really think that there was too much wrong with David Hosey. He wasn't involved in any of those exchanges. The ball is taken, the free kick is taken by Kevin Walsh. Trim went to go attack again, but it was robbed off the Trim man by Finian Murtha. He's fouled, and it's a free to Navan O'Mahony's. And as we can see, O'Mahony's not exactly rushing to take any of these frees. The slower the game is at this stage, the more it will suit them.
Replaces number 13, Enda Markey.
James Canty is in for Enda Markey as Benny Murray clears the Trim lines. In there is Aaron Fay, he's on his own. Ronan Fitzsimon thrown alongside him, but they're being closed out again. Aaron Fay goes for his point. It's a bad kick, and it goes to the right, and it goes wide. There's 3 scoring opportunities, 3 point scoring opportunities in the last 4 minutes that Trim have just not made use of, and well, they're certainly going to tell in the end. No change in the scoreline. 7 points to Trim, 1-9 to Navan O'Mahony's. The ball is kicked out, and Darren Fay goes for that. Darren has tried his heart out. He sends the ball in. They're going to go looking for a goal at this stage. Running onto it, there is danger here, and Aaron Fay gets a left-footed boot to that. They were going certainly for a goal, but it went to the left and it went wide again. Trim attempt to go attacking again. There's a foul there and it's a free into them, and in fact that's a goal effort, a very good ball in fact it was from Darren Fay, and the man who actually went to scoop it in fact in was in fact James Canty, who has come on as a substitute. It was James Canty in fact, not Aaron Fay. A free into Trim, halfway between the centre field and the 45. Darren Fay will take that. Time is ticking away, 2.5 minutes to go. It's a long ball, it's dropping inside to the left and it's dropping wide again, and certainly the prolific scoring that we've seen from Trim in the championship earlier on, while their shooting boots have deserted them certainly in the last 15 minutes or so, and indeed it reminds us of the first round down in Kilmessan when a similar situation, they had 14 wides against Walterstown, and that was the only match they lost in the championship so far. Donald Smith, he kicks it out to this side of the field. It's a big kick out. Benny Murray goes for it. He sends a low ball in to the substitute James Canty. James has caused a little bit of trouble since he came in. He's fouled there and it's a free into Trim, and the personal foul being used by the Navan O'Mahony's backs now. They're not letting the Trim men in. Declan Murray will take this. Time is running out on them. And another substitute for Trim there, David Hegarty going in, Kevin Meehan coming off. It'll be being kicked left-footed by Declan Murray and gone to the left, and it's gone wide yet again. Their chances, well, they had their chances in the last 7 or 8 minutes, but it looks like they're all gone now. No change in that scoreline. O'Mahony's lead by 5 points. They have 1-9 on the scoreboard. Trim have 7 points. Navan O'Mahony's man with the kick out. It looks like Finian Murtha, who came in as a substitute. He sends his side attacking. They're on the Trim 45. A couple of Trim men come back there. looking for his score, looking for his point there was centre half back Kenny McGurk, but it drops into Kieran Dempsey's hands. There's danger here. That was a bad clearance and the ball goes high and over the bar. David Hosey, another point for Navan O'Mahony's, and that certainly puts it way out of Trim's reach. Not a good clearance by the Trim men. There's a Navan O'Mahony's man on the ground. The referee, my watch says that time is almost up. We've got about a minute. There's a Navan O'Mahony's man on the ground. Yeah, the Navan man that's down is in fact their top scorer, young David Hosey, the find of the year as far as Navan O'Mahony's were concerned, and it was him that got that last score for Navan O'Mahony's. Little naive perhaps, the short pass out by the Trim defence, they paid the penalty. So the scoreline, as time ticks away, in fact some supporters leaving Port Talton, 1 goal and 10 points to Navan O'Mahony, 7 points to Trim as David Hosey is attended to, and there's no doubt about it, there'll be a lot of disappointed Trim supporters here in Navan, but they've achieved a lot by reaching this year's senior football final. They would certainly not have been one of the favourites to do so at the start of the season, and no doubt defeat in a final, well, it's not that easy to take, but there is a lot of promise in a very young Trim side, and I've no doubt that we will see them back here in Navan on senior football final day again. My stopwatch says that time is up. In fact, we're gone 30 seconds into injury time, but there's a couple of little delays, so we'll have to wait and see what Jimmy Henry allows for injury time. Trim attempting to set up an attack there in the middle of the field, but Navan are equal to it. The man picking it up is Martin Riley, who came on as a substitute even though he's wearing number 12. He's blocked down. Darren Fay sends a long ball in. It's half blocked as he went to do it. Benny Murray came out to that, but he hesitated and it went to an Navan O'Mahony's man. It's on the ground. Trim man to pick it up was Aaron Fay, a man who hasn't been in the match all that much. He dropped in a ball. A fist to it there by Brendan Murray towards the end line. It's gone out over the end line for a 45. Time is up. We're gone a minute and a half into injury time. Jimmy Henry, a lot of players gathering there, having a word with one another. Finian Murtha coming over, in fact, to actually try and sort it out. There's nothing major. It's a 45 to Trim, but I'm afraid it's all going to be a little bit too late. Darren Fay will take this again. It's to the right of the uprights. Jimmy Henry is talking to a number of players there. In fact, he's just taken the name of 2 players. Into the book goes Kenny McGurk, the centre half back for Navan O'Mahony's, and number 19, the Trim substitute, James Canty. A change in free taker or 45 taker. The man taking it, centre half back, Trim's David Murray. There are players having a few words with one another inside in the goal mouth as that ball is floated in. It goes to James Canty. He's on the edge of the big square. It's a free in. He was tripped there, even though it's a free. The referee says a 13-metre free, and Declan Murray will take this with his left hand well into injury time now. In fact, 3 minutes into injury time. 7 points to Trim, 110 to Navan O'Mahony's. This might very much, as the game has died on its feet, it is very much probably a last chance for Trim. Will he go for goal? Right footed he does. It goes off an Navan O'Mahony's man and it goes over for a 45. And yes, the referee, well, he hasn't blown the final whistle yet. It's a 45 and it'll be taken very quickly, I would imagine, by David Murray. But it looks like it's all over at this stage. No way back for Trim with 3.5 minutes of injury time gone. David Murray takes this 45. He's going to drop it in. What's going to happen here? Practically everybody there, fist to it. It went towards the goal, but it's collected by a Navan O'Mahony's man. And Finian Murtha, the experienced, wily old campaigner, winning another senior football championship, it looks like, gets that ball out, but it's not a good clearance. It runs as far as David Murray. Navan O'Mahony's man goes for that ball. 3 or 4 Trim men going to him. Aaron Fay fouls him there. A little bit of a samozzel. Number of players in. We're well into injury time. I don't know what the referee is doing, allowing all this injury time. Why he can't blow the whistle. It's going to make no difference to the result. Navan O'Mahony's lead, 1 goal and 10 points to 7 points, and it doesn't make any sense for a referee to allow a match to go on into injury time like this. He'd be better throwing the ball in, blowing the whistle. The match is over to all intents and purposes, and another man goes into the book there, Aaron Fay. A free to Navan O'Mahony's, and the referee continues to play on. We've got almost 5 minutes of injury time. It really, well, I'd say is not going to serve any purpose to continue this play, and I don't think even the Trim, the hardest die-hard Trim supporter, would disagree with that at this stage. The free is taken, and there it goes. The full-time whistle. Navan O'Mahony's are the Meath Senior Football Champions for the first time since 1990. The final scoreline here in Páirc Tailteann. Trim 7 points. The winners and champions of 1997, Navan O'Mahony's, 1 goal and 10 points. And no doubt there are a lot of disappointed Trim players out there, a lot of disappointed Trim supporters. But as I said a little bit earlier, there's no doubt Trim, they're a young side. The oldest man on it, in fact, is only 29 years of age, a lot of teenagers, and it's the start perhaps of a lot of potential that hopefully will be realised over the next 4 or 5 years. But in fairness to Navan O'Mahony's, I don't think any will dispute it. Apart from the second quarter, the second half of this match, Navan O'Mahony's really did dominate the game in spite of the hard efforts of Darren Fay, who has tried his heart out at centre field in the half back line, and even going down and getting what I would call the score of the match.
The trophy, which goes to the man of the match. Now, your man of the match today is Donald Smith. So if we can have Donald Smith up here as well, please.
A lot of disappointed Trim players and supporters down there. See, man with the bottle and the green bib on him there is no less than Frank Foley, a man who is a selector with the Meath team. He's wearing the green bib, taking a drink there. He'll be disappointed. He's acted as the physiotherapist for the Trim camp. The Navan O'Mahony's, well, what can you say about them? They would not have expected to get to this year's county final, but when they get that far, they're always very, very difficult to beat. The spectators, both from Trim and Navan O'Mahony's, the supporters, mixing down there as the Navan men prepare to go up for the presentation for the Keegan Cup. The last time they had it in Navan here in Bruce Hill was in fact in 1990 when they beat Summerhill, another South Meath side, in the replay. They were beaten in the 1994 final, but they're back again, and Davy Nelson has done a lot to get this Navan O'Mahony's team to the final and to take the championship yet again.
We had a tremendous game of football, and I must say a clean sporting game throughout, and it's a credit to both clubs and also to the players who are on the pitch. I would like on behalf of the county board to extend our heartfelt thanks to both clubs and both committees in charge of the players here today. It was a credit to our concern that we had a sporting game and a magnificent game of football. And without further ado, I will present this trophy to Alan Riley, Captain O'Mahony. And before I do that, I would like to say also to Trim, who are a very, very young team. I'm sure that we'll see you back to the Kunate next year. Can we get on with it?
Three cheers for Trin. And then,
I would like to also thank the referee who did a splendid job there, Jimmy Henry and his men. I would like to thank
Alan Riley, the Navan O'Mahony's captain,
and all the men who appreciated it today.
just accepted the Keegan Cup for Navan O'Mahony's. It's their 16th time to capture the Keegan Cup.
tremendous job he's done on that. And should the winner go to you, good
Martin McCormack, the trainer of the Trim team, talks to Browndown O'Brick, the Navan O'Mahony's man. They exchange views, and the disappointment in Martin McCormack's eyes is very, very noticeable. Okay, with me are two very disappointed men from the Trim camp, the coach of the Trim team and the manager, in fact, Jimmy Fay, and along with him his son, who played no small part in Trim's efforts today. He certainly couldn't be blamed for it. Jimmy, I know we're very much disappointment, a lot of disappointment in the Trim camp, but things didn't go maybe as well as you would have liked.
No, they didn't. We didn't just perform on the day. I think it got to the young lads a bit. I didn't think it would, but I think it got to them in the end, yeah. But I tell you, we did well up to half time. We were cruising half time, but after half time we didn't play at all.
Yeah. Well, that's the thing that struck me. Certainly in the first half, the first 10 to 15 minutes, it looked like O'Mahony's were going to run away with it. Then you had 15 minutes, in fact, of Trim dominance, and you were 3 points behind, and then you pulled them back 3 points each. And at half time, okay, Declan missed the penalty, or rather it was saved rather than he missed it, and it looked okay at that stage, but they certainly did dominate. Their backs were very tenacious, Jimmy. I thought that was the biggest.
Yeah, well, I knew that. I said it all along after I watched them against Simon's, and the backs were the strongest part of the team. And just come back to the penalty miss, you can't blame Decky. It was a great penalty, and it was a great save. You know, Donald Smith is a great goalkeeper, you know. And it's just, I'm lost for words, really. You know,
it's a young side though, Jimmy, but no doubt that you would be hoping like to see them back here in Park Thalton on senior football final day in the next few years.
Well, it was a great year, but it mean nothing if we don't go one step further next year, and I intend to bring them here next year and go better.
All right, well, Jimmy, thank you very much. Just running to a man who played no small part in Trim's efforts today, Darren. Darren, I know you're very disappointed. Where did you feel that perhaps it didn't go quite right on the day?
Well, I felt that when we had our dominance, we were very hard to get away from the Mahony's backs, but when they were dominating, they seemed to be running freely through us, you know. They were easily when they were doing the domination, you know, and we had to work so hard to get a couple of pints in the table, so I think their sheer hunger, I think, won it in the end.
Right. Well, the one thing that everyone talked about was the tenacity of the Navan O'Mahony's backline, and I think you were out there in the middle of it. You would have to agree that certainly came to pass, didn't it?
Well, on a personal point of view, I don't think I've ever played against a tougher backline in any grade and than the Navan O'Mahony's backline today. They were just so strong, and when they hit you with a tackle, you knew you were hit. So fair play to them, fair play to all the Mahony's players and selectors.
Well, in saying that, there were a number of promising Trim attacks, as I mentioned just to your dad just a second ago. There were a few goal chances as well, and I'm not particularly referring to the penalty that was saved by Donald Smith. There were a few goal chances that with a bit of luck might have just helped a bit.
Yeah, with the run of the ball, the penalty you couldn't blame Decky. I was standing right behind Decky, and it was a great penalty and a great save, so you couldn't blame him for that. The goal chance, I think it was just that when the final pass went in, we were under so much pressure that it kind of went away from the player that was receiving it, and just didn't go our way in the day.
All right, well look, Darren Fay, I know you want to get back to the dressing room. Thank you very much indeed.
Right.
Sorry, just a second, Jimmy, you want another word, do you?
Just want to congratulate him, man. He's on a great sporting match, hard match, and best of luck to them. Right. They deserve to win.
Right.
Okay.
So that's it, a final word there from Jimmy Fay, the coach and manager of the Trim team. But 1997, well, Navan O'Mahony's are the Meath senior football champions, but no doubt we'll see this Trim team back in Navan on. Okay, we're now joined by Davy Nelson, the man who looked after Navan, brought them to this final, and David, successfully, I'm sure you're thrilled. And there's a lot of disappointment in Trim, I can tell you.
I'm sure there is, Frank. We're over the moon. We lost one in 93 that we felt we should have won, with due respects to Screen, and it's 7 years since we won, so it's a long time for us coming. But we knew today that we had to play the game of our year to beat Trim, because Trim, to me, are on the rise. I said it in the dressing room, and they're only going to get better. Some of the performances in the championship scared the life out of me, to be honest with you. I was at the Summerhill match, I was at the Cortown match, and I was at the 18 points against Centretown. And we just knew we had to play with our hearts. We know what it takes to win a final, and maybe Trim will learn from today. I'm pretty sure they'll be back here in the not too distant future to win a Keegan Cup.
Right. Well, the one thing that impressed me, I've always said that Navan O'Mahony's are always very tactically aware, no one more so than Davy Nelson, and your backs today, the one thing I'm sure that impressed Trim immensely was they were tenacious, they closed down avenues, and they forced Trim to, if you like, kick a lot of wides that they wouldn't normally.
That's very true. I thankfully have been associated with a lot of winning teams. I've just been lucky enough to be born at the right time, and this defence has conceded on average of 8 points per championship match. Now that is absolutely outstanding, and we knew the Trim forwards were so hot, having 6 scoring forwards, that we had to again play. You know, we definitely had problems before half time, and we were lucky enough to be able to call on quality players to bring in and give us greater strength at the back and more attacking awareness up front. Finian Murta gave us that head that we just lacked in the first half, so we're just lucky like that. Because for some of our players today, they know they won't be back, to be quite honest. So it was a must-win game. Trim, it's all ahead of them.
All right.
You know.
Well, look, you just mentioned a thing. You've won senior football on the championships on the field. You've now won them, like if you like, on the sideline. Would you prefer to be out there playing today, or would you prefer to be standing as you are on the sideline?
There's absolutely no comparison between playing and standing on the sideline. I still do all the training with the lads. I'm as fit as a flea, but I'm just gone slow these days. And it's a great feeling. I suppose it's as near a feeling as I'll ever have to the ultimate, which is out on the park, giving it all, you know. But it's wonderful.
All right.
You know.
Well, Davy, look, thanks for talking to us, and I'm sure all of them congratulate Navan O'Mahony's again. But no doubt they'll come back and have a crack at you sometime.
I've absolutely no doubt that Trim will be back. I said in the dressing room, and I don't mean it to be patronising, Trim are going to be around for a while.
All right.
Thanks,
Davy Nelson, manager and coach of the Navan O'Mahony's team, the 1997 Meath Senior Football Champions. Thank you very much indeed. And so that about wraps it up here. As I say, Trim defeated by Navan O'Mahony's, 1 goal and 10 points to 7 points. Navan O'Mahony's the champions, but Trim will be back.